from 2016 to the spring of 2021, 1 ounce of rhodium went from about $600 per ounce to just shy of $30,000 per ounce. Platinum is about 30 times rarer than gold, but platinum is trading for less than half of what gold is trading for right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Bullion Standard Podcast. And Charlie, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
All right, so Charlie, we're going to talk about platinum group metals today. This is a very interesting topic.
You mean that metal that they put in catalytic converters?
One of the metals that they put in catalytic converters. I like to call them alien metals, and I'll talk about a little bit more on why I think that is a little bit later in this episode. But yeah, we're talking about platinum group metals today. I have a belief platinum group metals are some of the most exotic, misunderstood metals on planet Earth.
They're certainly rare.
They're very rare compared to the rate in which they come out of the ground relative to other precious metals like gold and silver. We could say, maybe the title of this video would be the most slept on metal of 2025. So let's start off with this. What are the platinum group metals? Well, there's 6 that come to mind for me, 3 of which are kind of like investor friendly. The other 3 maybe not so much. And there are other kind of similar metals, but the main ones are, of course, platinum, palladium, and rhodium. These are 3 metals that have been manufactured as investment retail denominated bullion products. And then we have 3 lesser known ones, ruthenium, osmium, and iridium. These typically come in sponge form, which is almost like a little bottle of precious metals powder. It's called sponge. It's used in industrial application. You can get sponge in gold and silver. It's used in jewelry manufacturing as an example. But particularly, we want to talk about why these metals are unique, how investors can access them, and given the fact that I like to call them alien metals, what uses could they have, and how could they benefit humanity moving forward? And what uses do we have for them today? And is it a monetary metal? Is it an investment metal? The answer to that question, of course, is it's definitely an industrial metal for investment. It's not a monetary metal. It's not like gold. It's not even like silver, really.
Do you call them alien metals because they're from outer space?
Well, if we want to look at it from that way, everything's from outer space, technically. But
even you and even me?
Yes.
We are in outer space right now.
So, yeah, let's talk about platinum. Platinum is a tried and true metal. It's usually right up there with gold as far as popularity and, how people know about it. And it could be said that platinum is even more prestigious than gold. Let's look at the credit cards, so the American Express credit cards. You got platinum, you got gold, in that order, and then some of the lesser ones below that.
Mm-hmm.
But platinum is trading for less than half of what gold is trading for right now.
Per ounce.
Yes, per ounce. Obviously, it just experienced a massive run up in price. It had been in a pretty narrow channel for the past 5 years, about $1,000 an ounce, $900 an ounce. It's broken out, kind of around April. It's a great investment metal because of its industrial application. Let's talk about the other 2 for a moment, too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about rhodium. Let's talk about palladium. The majority of utility for these metals is used in catalytic converters. These are a really good thing for human beings because it scrubs and cleans the air from emissions within, a catalytic converter. It's a catalytic effect. It's an auto catalyst. And
the burnt spent fuel out of the engine goes through the honeycomb of the catalytic converter, and the chemicals in that exhaust are attached molecularly to the different components of different metals in the catalytic converter. And then coming out the tailpipe, you have less exhaust, damaging components.
Here's why platinum group metals are fascinating. You might have seen water drip out of the tailpipe of an exhaust before. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, condensation.
Yep. That is a catalytic reaction from the platinum group metals. Let's look at the nitrous oxides that come out of that are in exhaust. When you make a honeycomb material and then you coat that with platinum group metals, in gasoline engines, it's typically palladium and rhodium. But in diesel engines, it's typically platinum and rhodium. You need rhodium for both. However, they can be substituted just at much higher rates, and it takes a lot of time to retool the equipment used to manufacture this stuff. So there's lead times if you want to substitute them out. But typically for gasoline, it's palladium and rhodium. And
isn't silver also used in some capacity that's similar for disinfecting, clarifying water or something like that? I'm trying to remember what it is.
Correct. We'll talk about that in another episode. Silver is extremely unique and rare in the fact that it has the same kind of properties as these platinum group metals. But yeah, what you're talking about is silver being a germicide, a biocide. It's used in water purification. There's an old story that says sailors would drop a silver coin in their milk as they traveled across the Atlantic Ocean so the milk wouldn't spoil. It's one of the reasons why silverware is made out of silver. Bacteria cannot survive on the surface of silver. So particularly for catalytic converters, you have this honeycomb material, and then you plate it with these alien metals, and then you pass some emissions through it, and it's molecularly separating nitrous oxides into nitrogen and water, and then putting those out the tailpipe instead of the nitrous oxides. It's fascinating. So, we have these platinum group metals, and they have all these really cool uses that benefit humanity in so many cool ways. And so the principal driver for them are autocatalysts. And so it could be said that we are still a long way away from getting rid of the internal combustion engine, the ICE. And so therefore, demand for platinum and platinum group metals should experience pretty good favor over the next few decades. So that's basically the investment case for platinum as a precious metal.
Well, specifically, there's going to be a large demand because we have all these nations that are industrializing. And, we've talked before, and you've kind of shared the progression of, you go from a bicycle to a little scooter, and 50cc scooter to a motorcycle, 125cc, and then you get into a little car, and then now you've got, everyone's got a big SUV.
That was Rick Rule who said that, actually, and I love that analogy. I think it's very well put, and it puts into perspective that, industrializing nations that are growing rapidly out of poverty, it's very commodity intensive. And so that's kind of what you just spoke to. It's like, when somebody becomes a little bit more wealthy, it's commodity intensive. They want to buy more stuff. They want to have a higher standard of living like you and I and everybody watching this video enjoys.
So we have technology, we have the internet, everyone can see all the, luxuries of life, and now that's going to become more required. People are going to say, hey, let's get the scooters, let's get the SUVs. We need all these metals. There's a demand side tailwind behind all these metals, and including rhodium, palladium, and platinum.
That's right. So, let's talk about rarity of these metals. It could be said approximately platinum is about 30 times rarer than gold. It could be said rhodium is about 100 times rarer than gold. So we're talking about very, very minute quantities that are in the Earth's crust. Most of the platinum group metals that are mined come from two principal places, South Africa and also Russia. There's a little bit in South America, there's a little bit in Canada, but that's where the lion's share of the output comes from. And so because those are two very volatile places, supply gets disrupted. Let's talk about one of the consequences of supply being disrupted. From 2016 to the spring of 2021, 1 ounce of rhodium went from about $600 per ounce to just shy of $30,000 per ounce in about 6 years. crazy.
Are there rhodium mines? Are there platinum mines? Are there palladium mines? Or is it a byproduct of other mining?
Rhodium is a byproduct of platinum mining. Palladium is kind of they're all kind of intertwined together. But yes, there are platinum group metal mines. Like I mentioned, South Africa, Russia. It's mostly mixed in with nickel, I believe. And so I think it's a byproduct of nickel mining operation too. But yeah, I believe there are pure play platinum group metal mines. So we have these 3 platinum group metals that are manufactured in retail denominated investment form. Baird and Pamp Suisse manufactured a 1 ounce rhodium product. Baird made fractional rhodium. They made a 5 ounce bar, 1 ounce bar, half ounce, quarter ounce, 10th ounce bar. Pamp Suisse only made a 1 ounce rhodium bar. They haven't made any in quite a while. We used to buy and sell a lot of rhodium in the year 2019 and up until the big run up in the spring of 2021. It was cheap back in those days, and so people who had the foresight, they realized it was a small market, less than 1 million ounces per year kind of market for rhodium. And yeah, if you have a market that's volatile, and if there's any disruption to your supply, you get $30,000 per ounce just about.
I remember our discussions about your participation in those markets.
Yeah, I remember seeing a lot of rhodium one time. Big table spread out, just covered in 5 ounce Baird Mint rhodium bars, just millions and millions of dollars of rhodium. Local investor here in San Diego who capitalized on that. But, people do it. It's just, that was the ultimate contrarian play. We talk about contrarian plays, and I can't think of anything more contrarian than loading up on hundreds of ounces of rhodium, sub $1,000 an ounce. So anyway, Charlie, we have these platinum group metals, and then we have 3 other ones that are less talked about. Investors who typically are bullion investors don't touch them. Ruthenium, iridium, and osmium. They all have their own unique industrial application, probably a little bit more nuanced than auto catalyst, but they're still rare nonetheless, and you can buy them in sponge form. And
well, let's tell our audience a little bit about Bullion Standard's offerings and where this all kind of connects.
Before you do that, I want to share a really powerful data point that will put into perspective the investor interest in platinum group metals right now. Okay. Historically, platinum has made up about 1% of retail bullion sales for us. Pretty low, right? In recent time, platinum group metals have made up as much as 10% of our sales. So there's been an extreme increase in interest and favor returning to the platinum market. I think investors are starting to wake up and realize that, just kind of like silver and some other commodities like uranium, a lot of these metals are in supply deficit, which means we consume more than comes out of the ground each year. And so we don't know how much is available. It's been said over the years, Russia, as an example, has some kind of stockpile. That's something I've followed really since like 2018, 2019. I've heard that they've sold a lot of that to fund the Ukraine-Russia war. And so maybe they're dwindling now, who knows, but it's not really known how much above ground inventory exists, but what we do know is that more is used in industry and manufacturing each year than actually comes out of the ground.
And will continue to increase short of some catastrophic event. So we don't make decisions based on, wild catastrophic events. We make decisions based on, a little bit of trust in the stability of, that humans will always return to, the positive.
Right. So we could say platinum might be a mispriced asset, Charlie. And so investors love mispriced assets. So we'll kind of wrap it up there. That's a little bit about platinum group metals. Mostly used in auto catalyst manufacturing. They do have other application. And this year they are becoming really hot for investment demand. And so for that reason, I have a belief that platinum and palladium and rhodium will continue to do very well and enjoy a lot of interest going forward.
Thank you, Kyle, for all that. You are a wealth of information. I'm amazed every time we have these conversations and I say, where did you pick all this information up and how do you store all this information? It's fantastic. Thanks for letting me participate.
Absolutely.
Remember, every ounce matters, and so does every insight. Until next time, stay informed, stay committed to growth, and hold your Bullion Standard higher. You can explore member resources at bullionstandard.com.